I want to show you a little magic trick. See, what I have here are 6 ordinary playing cards. In just a second, I'm going to show them to you for 5 seconds. I want you to pick one card and memorize it. Got it? Alright, now stare at this anime girl while I remove the card that you picked. Let's take another look at the card, shall we? Your card isn't there anymore, is it? But how did I know not only that you would pick that card, but that everybody who could watch this would pick that exact card? I didn't. That'd be impossible. See, the reason you thought your card disappeared is the same reason you probably didn't notice I changed my shirt. You weren't paying wide enough attention. See, the human brain is really good at paying attention to one thing, and then just filtering out everything else it deems unimportant. If you really wanted to have played this game right, you would have noticed that this set of cards is totally different than the first set. Thus, I'm going to ask you to pay close attention to this video. Turn off any streams that you may have on or music that may be playing. Put away your work and chores for just a minute and stick with me. Because to really articulate my point, we're going to have quite a few of these tests. What the hell does this have to do with anime dubs, Steven? Well, honestly, it doesn't. This part is actually about the subtitles. Thus, I'm going to do this next section in Japanese. Anime o miru toki ni shita de jimaku wa nato no chui o nusumimasu. Now then, let's watch that scene dubbed in English. You see, when you're too busy focusing on the text about on the screen, you're not actually paying attention to what's happening. That's right, the Japanese was actually the dubbed version of that scene. But odds are you were too busy reading the subtitles to notice my lips didn't match up. Go ahead and look back if you don't believe me. Truth is, your eyes can only keep a very clear image, we'll say HD for ease, and about the size of your thumbnail. When your arm is fully stretched out, it's not very big, huh? Thus, when you're reading anime subtitles, or looking at anything in frame really, the vast majority of the show is actually in a lower resolution than that tiny point you're focusing on. Let's do another little test. Read this sentence. Now focus only on the word anime. In just a second, I'm going to drop the rest and bring in new words. Make sure you only look at anime. No cheating. Without moving your focus, try and just acknowledge how much blurrier the other words really are. Weird, huh? Did you even notice that they were all nonsense? Alright, so what's the theory with all this? Quite simply, if you're used to watching subtitled anime while watching a dub, your brain will start to pick up on all of these slower and lazier parts of a show's animation that would go unnoticed while you're reading. Your brain registers the general motion in its field of view, but it doesn't focus on it until you're finished reading each line, by which point you're only looking at about a second or two before you're snapped back to a new line. Here's an example. I'm going to show you a scene without the dialogue twice, once with subtitles and once without. Did that second one bore you? Well, that's probably because it's 5 to 6 seconds of nearly no animation. And yes, that was unedited. That is just how the show is. Anime is full of these static shots, minimal movement and vague lip flaps that you typically don't focus on. However, during a dub, if you're an exclusively sub-watcher, your brain will subconsciously pick up on this lack of movement and make the experience feel more slow or boring. In an attempt to reconcile this feeling, you will begin to find other more tangible reasons that you don't enjoy your experience. Now, is what I'm saying the only reason you may dislike dubs? No. I'm just positing it as a reason that you may not have thought of. And if you watch this and are now thinking, how could dubs ever be good given this mentality? Consider this. Television programming is not meant for the viewer to be paying full attention to. TV shows are part of a subsect of media called glance media. For the clearest example of glance media, think of a billboard on the highway. It's meant to be eye-catching, yet simple enough for your brain to process the necessary information in a matter of moments as you're speeding by. As opposed to movies or books where you're meant to sit and dedicate your full attention to, TV is meant to be more like that billboard. In the distracting environment of your house, shows assume that the viewer will not be paying full attention to what's happening. Maybe you're cooking, cleaning, doing homework, whatever it is, you're not focused 100% on the show. This is why sitcoms are full of quick one-liners and laugh tracks. Your brain can latch onto that brief moment and get the dose of entertainment without having to stare at the screen for the 15 minutes before it. That's ridiculous, you may be thinking. How could you know what's happening if you're not paying attention to the show? Well, you'd be surprised at just how much our brains can take in a short amount of time. Look at the X on the screen. In just a moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. While they're closed, I'll put two images on the screen. When I say go, open your eyes and keep looking at the X for just a moment, not even a full second, then close them again. We'll do this a few times, and I want you to keep track of which side seemed friendlier for each set. Trust me, cheating on this is only cheating yourself out of the fun. Ready? Close your eyes now. Go. 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 So how'd you do? Did you notice that the ones you tended to like were the happy faces or the neutral faces? Or do you have something wrong with your periphery and chose only the scary ones? Obviously there are always exceptions, but shows are meant to use this glance ability. They're filled with snappy and easily digestible moments and easily cut up to accommodate commercial breaks. Considering anime is typically a TV show, it uses these same principles. That's what makes these moments of little to no animation acceptable. You're not meant to be watching it the whole time. And if you're watching a dub, you're likely watching it the same way. You're probably texting, tweeting, writing a paper, playing a game, etc. You're not watching for those static moments because you're treating the show how it's meant to be treated, at a glance. Subtitles operate in this bizarre middle ground, where you are technically paying full attention like you would to a book or a movie, but you're still treating the show itself at a glance capacity. Your attention is split in a way akin to watching a show in English and going about your daily business, but that full attention warps your perception of the viewing experience. If you're used to watching only subs and giving a show that full attention, a dub will be awkward for your brain, since you will want to give it that full attention, but you'll find it to be a less enjoyable viewing experience based on your history with the medium and its very nature of being something you're not supposed to give undivided attention to. To take that logic and flip it around, it's why dub watchers may not like to go to subs. They're not used to having to dedicate that much attention to a show when they're much more used to consuming it passively. It can be exhausting not to be able to let your mind wander and enjoy things outside of the show. Again, this isn't to say that this is the only reason sub-watchers may not like dubs or vice versa. I'm just positing it as a reason that you may not have thought of in the past, as it's a little more subconscious. Now then, I am really tired of all these wardrobe changes. Maybe I made them too obvious, maybe you caught all of them, but I guess the real question is, are you paying attention? I'll see you guys in the next one.